welcome to Network. My name is Pamela Lezondi with your technology and social media news. We're hoping you are having a good holiday season so far and that December is wrapping up nicely for you. It's SABC Network on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram. News Network at sabc.co.za on email. This week, Twitter poll is asking you about your favorite tech gadgets of 2022. We do know that there were some problems, especially because of COVID-19 lockdowns, especially in China, that slowed down things a little bit. But what were some of your favorite gadgets? Results of that are coming up later in the program. Firstly, here's what's coming up in this particular program. We go to the Rage Gaming Expo. There's another postponement of a digital migration of TV. And in our conversation, we chat about that WhatsApp school scandal that involves matric pupils using a WhatsApp group to cheat. As with most events that returned in the year 2022, the Rage Gaming Expo returned, and this time it was in Midrand.
Video gamers, esports enthusiasts, and exhibitors all packed Gallagher Convention Center in Johannesburg. They are here for what is Africa's biggest gaming event. This is Rage.
I don't know, it's a good hobby to have. I've been doing it since I was a Ndwana. So besides playing outside, it was just something to do besides entertaining, It's just been fun. Mainly I'm a racing game kind of guy, so anything that has cars and stuff, just because I watch that stuff in real life and I've always liked cars, so it's easy to get into that. So that's what we're going to be doing over there.
So we play Overwatch, CSGO, and then that's mostly the games I play, only multiplayer games. Storyline games, I'm playing Fallout again now from old games. Fallout 4, Fallout New Vegas, that's also games I'm playing.
Games are systems and they're constructs, and you have to understand the mechanics of the game and how it works, Like with this game, for instance, you have to understand how a character works, the mechanics of the game, what you can do, how to string combos and so on. So I really enjoy figuring out these systems and
Enthusiasts are here for different reasons. Each one has specific things that they love.
I like Minecraft. It's because that you can build things. It's like basically the world, but then you have like different materials that you can build stuff out of.
I'm playing Minecraft. It's almost my favorite game in the whole world besides Geometry Dash.
Esports is absolutely booming around the world, with tournaments frequently getting in millions of viewers on streams, and visitors to Rage Expo witness this phenomenon live.
I find it way better than the previous years. It's better than the previous years because some of the gamers, they sleep around here. They come here, they have sleeping bags and everything. If you move around the halls, there's a hall 3 around. If you go through the hall 3, you'll find guys there having their sleeping bags. They're gaming throughout the night. They sleep here. So that's the reason I'm saying it has become better. It has grown because some guys are taking it seriously.
Mamelodi Sundowns FC hosted a 200,000 FIFA 23 esports tournament with the semi-finals and finals held here.
So we are here at the Rage Expo on this wonderful Saturday to celebrate Mamelodi Sundowns' inclusion in FIFA 23, and also it's about celebrating esports. We decided today to go about this because it was important that we allow the whole of the gaming community to be part of our inclusion in the PlayStation game, in the video game. And today we were about celebrating. We had a whole bunch of winners that came through from different regional qualifiers across the nation. It started with young people playing at malls to qualify for the tournament. We held that over a month. So it all came up to the culmination of the finals, which was today at the Rage Expo, where we had one winner who won 100,000 Rand and a second place winner who won 50,000 Rand. And the prize money went down like that all the way. We gave away 200,000 Rand worth of cash prizes today, all in celebration of exposing different communities to the game.
The tournament attracted a large number of gamers, all vying for one of the top 8 spots.
Yeah, so it was a very good experience. Sundowns having their first competitive tournament in FIFA. Had to qualify online. There were many qualifiers, but I think overall, of course, I had a fantastic experience winning the whole thing.
The Expo has been bringing people together since 2000. This is the ultimate escape destination for gamers where they can get lost in digital lifestyle gear.
There's a massive digital divide that was exposed to pretty much all over the world during the COVID-19 pandemic. And while it is a divide that shows a gap between the rich and the poor, it also shows a lack of tech exposure to women when you compare it to men. But RoboGo is an initiative that's trying to close that gap and trying to expose especially rural girls to some kind of technology education. Many young girls in KwaZulu-Natal come from communities like this one. This is far from any kind of the high-tech buzz of major cities like Johannesburg, Cape Town, and even Durban. The Durban University of Technology says that's why they've launched their RoboGo program.
Yes, in fact, such initiatives, they are very, very important in promoting the girl child in the tech space.
In a space of over a week, the young girls play with machines at the university, something many of them have never done before.
Today, what I've learned is that we can use artificial light in farming for growing certain plants which actually grow with different wavelengths.
And I find it very interesting because I feel like these skills will help me down the line when I'm choosing my career path.
Today we're learning more about how to connect the circuit board and connecting it with the code and connecting LEDs.
Their fun includes coding and robotics.
We've decided is that we are driving women in leadership, and it's pointless just starting it, when guys leave school and pass university. We need to start at ground level or at grassroots level. So what we've decided to do was to partner with DUT and put this event together, targeting the 4th Industrial Revolution and beyond. So our strategy is how do we empower young ladies to be educated on robotics and coding to help them get into the ICT sector globally, not just in South Africa.
The training aims to close the gap that exists between men and women. It also hopes to assist in reducing the lack of access to digital technologies and hopefully help rural girls in thinking about tech fields.
I would say these opportunities, there's a perception that they are for boys. Now, putting the girl child in the tech environment, it's a very exciting and a good initiative as well, so that we empower the girl learners so that they can see that their role is not only limited to other professions. They need to go to the tech space as the world is moving into a 4IR.
Many believe that training and access to new technologies for kids from rural communities could help them leapfrog into better stages of development. The first countries that did full digital migration of television did it about a decade and a half ago, well, too close to 2 decades in some countries. But South Africa has been postponing its deadlines for a number of years. There's a new deadline again.
Following a myriad of court cases, a few leadership changes, date postponements, which has all led to being 11 years later, South Africa has yet another date for the switch-off of analog broadcasting. Minister of Communications and Digital Technologies Khumbudzo Ntshavheni has announced 31st March 2023 as the cutoff date for the country's digital migration. However, she also left it open for the telecommunications industry players to make submissions on whether or not they agree with the set date.
To give effect to this part of the Court judgment, I hereby give notice to the industry and affected parties of my intention to determine 31st March 2023 as the analog switch-off date and the end of dual elimination period. Industry and affected parties are invited to make substantive representations either in support or opposing the proposed date.
Some feel these submissions could delay things a bit more, but there are analysts who say this won't be the case.
Even though, it is a process that we need to go through, there's still communication, there's still steps that the minister needs to take. and broadly inform the impacted stakeholders. So the idea is not that they can say, no, it should not happen, right? But they should provide presentations, and she will apply her mind to whatever inputs have been provided and take those into consideration, and then say, okay, yes, you've submitted this, so and so have submitted this, I've made a determination that we still need to go ahead. So it's essentially just ensuring that there is a participatory process, right? And it is not an irrational or an illegal step where people are being excluded without even being given the opportunity to provide submissions.
According to research body Media Monitoring Africa, technology used in the country is outdated. They feel migration shouldn't be rushed and instead universal access should be the focus.
Yeah, I mean, look, the DTT is also, broadly speaking, pretty much dead in the water to the extent that kind of technology is just out of date. The reason it's an important thing is because we do unfortunately still have millions of South Africans who don't have access to digital television, let alone have access to fast, cheap, reliable broadband. On the assumption that at some point we will make the switch and we will switch off the analog signal, we have to make sure that at that point the overwhelming majority of South Africans have access to, at the very least, digital set-top boxes or digitally enabled television sets that they can use to decode those signals. Of course, again, if our government had any kind of vision and had actually put any faith and real stock in the communication sector, what they would have been doing for the last 15 years is moving with the speed of one of those superheroes to make sure that everyone has access to fast, cheap broadband.
South Africa missed the 17 June 2015 International Telecommunications Union deadline to switch to digital broadcasting. African countries that have thus far migrated include Kenya, Malawi, and Rwanda, to name a few.
After the break, we chat about a WhatsApp cheating scandal that saw thousands of matric pupils getting into trouble. It's SABC Network on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. News Network at sabc.co.za. On email, welcome back. Now, there's a scandal that you've been finding out about in the last couple of days. Now, a group of matric learners, with the help of their teachers, used a WhatsApp group to cheat in a matric exam. The details are not quite clear yet, but it does appear that some people would leave the room, go look at the answers, and then go back into the room in order for them to do well during this exam in matric. Now, to talk to us about this and what can be and should be done and the usage of technology in education is Mfundo Tsanebe. He is an education books author as well as an app developer in the education space. Hello, and thank you very much for being a part of our network. Maybe if you can start by explaining whether technology should be used, because we often hear that there are teachers who are still a bit scared of it in education.
Well, I think it should be encouraged. There are many benefits to using technology, to using mobile phones, because we know now that in Africa we've got more mobile phones than all the other devices. So I think it's an opportunity. Of course, it's a matter of how do we use them, and we have to look into the better way of use of technology, and of course accept that technology can also be used for bad things and find a way to counter that, because there'll always be such issues.
All right, so you do encourage it. So how should it be used?
Well, I think this technology is a resource. It allows us to reach places that we can't really reach physically. So, for example, in the learning space, you can be exposed to different teachers as a learner than just be confined to the classroom and one teacher. You can have peers that will share information with you. And the importance of that is that you get exposed to far more than what you have in your confined space. So technology sort of transcends boundaries in that way. But we need to now know that we need to allow students to appreciate that they should be using this correctly and not use it just for the fun part of it only.
Here we're looking at a situation where cheating happened using WhatsApp and mobile phones and a technology tool. So what could have happened in this particular case then?
Well, I wouldn't be able to tell you what exactly happened, but I can tell you that if that is the case, I know for a fact that it is not allowed to have cell phones in the exam room. I wouldn't know if there are specific policies that are applying to that in those schools, but I know that the governing body association has indicated that schools need to have very clear policies on the use of cell phone in the school as well as in the exams. So what I think happened is that this was planned. It was really orchestrated by, I would imagine, the teachers, because they are the ones that would have provided the answers, and therefore they are the ones who would have initiated that. It wouldn't be the learners because they didn't have the answers in the first place.
Do you think uMalusi should act?
Well, I believe they will act. Other than just thinking they should, they will act, because what it does is the credibility of an exam is very important. If you tamper with the exam, you actually give the whole country, the whole society and the world reasons to doubt you, to doubt the qualifications that come out of your country. So if we let this slide and we do not attend to it in a proper manner, first to make sure that it doesn't happen again, but also to punish this act so that we can be sure that whoever wants to do it is really discouraged to do it. So I think uMalusi will act, but I also think the Department of Education will act, because uMalusi is more on the certification side and the accreditation side of the matric examination. But the department is the custodian of the examination. They are the ones who are responsible for the teachers and the learners. And they should do something that will make sure that this doesn't happen again.
This also raises a bigger question, and I suppose it's a question that's beyond technology. The challenge between the knowledge of the contents that you were learning in the classroom versus passing. Because clearly in this particular case, they wouldn't have known what they'd been learning in the classroom.
Well, this is the biggest problem that the Department of Education, let me say Department of Basic Education, so that I do not infringe on the other department. The problem is we have emphasized passing so much that the teacher, the principal, the parent, everyone is worried about passing, not about knowledge. And if you go to ask any teacher, why do learners go to school? Why do we have, I've actually asked one of the managers that I work with, what are we doing? What do we have learners for at school? He said, to pass. And I was really worried, because it actually means people have moved away from understanding that learning is about knowing, it's about gaining skills, it's about gaining certain attitudes that will be useful in life. And it has been reduced to just passing. So I then indicated to him that then if it is passing, I'm worried, because you can then do anything to make learners pass. And this is what we are seeing in this case, where people would do anything to make learners pass, because it doesn't matter whether they know or they don't. So to your question, what is the matric certificate? I mean, it really asks us to think again about the matric certificate, the way the exam is designed. Because if the exam is designed for critical thinking, it doesn't matter who is on the other side of the WhatsApp. You can't really have one answer to certain things. But as it is now, we just are trying for learners, asking for learners to remember. We are not really asking them to think, and therefore it is easy to have these situations. So we've got a long way to go to try to solve the real problem. We can cry all our lungs out for this one, but it is an issue that reflects our weaknesses in the education system.
Should we still continue using tech, especially mobile phones, as they are part of the problem in this particular situation? Should we still continue using it in education?
Well, we're not going to throw the baby with the water in this. There is a lot of benefit. I think we can put measures in place to prevent this from happening. We also have, of course, to to look into those people that did this and make sure that they do not influence others to do it in the future. But more importantly, I think we should encourage use of mobile phones in the classroom for the benefit of the learner, and learners should appreciate that it is for them to learn and not to cheat, as it happened in this case. And when it comes to the exams, I think we need to put more measures to make sure that we do not have the similar situation, and therefore do not start to curse technology as if it is technology that caused this, whereas it is the people that caused this.
All right, Mfundo Tsanibe, thank you very much for being a part of our network. And it is SABC Network on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. It's News Network at sabc.co.za on email. Stay with us. It is SABC Network on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Welcome back. Here's what else took place in the rest of the world in the tech space.
The Biden administration filed a complaint aimed at blocking tech giant Microsoft's $69 billion bid to buy Call of Duty games maker Activision over concerns the deal would deny rivals access to popular games. Microsoft, which owns the Xbox, said in January 2022 that it would buy Activision for $68.7 billion in the biggest gaming industry deal in history. In its complaint, the Federal Trade Commission, which enforces antitrust law, said that Microsoft has a record of buying valuable gaming content and using it to suppress competition from rival consoles. Still in the USA. After a year in which the crypto industry saw its value drop by some 2/3, it must quote-unquote figure out what its applications are beyond being a purely speculative casino asset. This is according to analysts.
The collapse in value for cryptos, especially for Bitcoin, has been devastating, I think. I don't think it overstates it to say that it's tragic for a lot of smaller scale investors. I am thinking in particular, when we're talking about sort of the populations of people who ended up with this, a lot of younger people, right? Like a lot of young people, they are online, they don't have any reasonable paths to wealth right now with the way the real estate market is, with the challenges of getting a good job, with all the sort of larger landscape economic issues that they're dealing with, right? So it's like, well, here is this way forward, right? Like here's something where I can get on my phone and I can buy like a piece of the action and I can get into this sort of crypto rocket ride and I can maybe actually make some money. And people put enormous amounts of their value into this. They put life savings into this.
November saw a 7-day realized loss of $10.16 billion in Bitcoin investments as investors were forced to exit long-term positions, the fourth largest loss on record by this measure, according to Glassnode data. And now in Thailand. Tesla Inc. has launched 2 electric vehicle models in Thailand, making its first foray into the regional autos hub that has long been dominated by Japanese manufacturers.
คือจริงๆรถอันนี้จริงๆ Tesla มันก็มาจากจีนนะผลิตนะแต่ว่าโอเคเทคโนโลยีเขามันมาจากของอเมริกานะคือที่ผมเทียบกันน่ะก็คือผมเทียบว่าเทคโนโลยีของ Tesla มันน่าจะเหนือกว่าคือก่อนหน้านี้ผมไม่แน่ใจว่าจะมาราคานี้ไงผมก็ไปจองรถจีนมาคันนึงก็มา1.2 ล้านอย่างเงี้ยแต่ว่าตอนนี้ผมก็คิดว่าเดี๋ยวผมจะไปถอนจองอันนั้นแล้วก็มาซื้อ Tesla
Fuel-based vehicles, especially by Japanese brands, still dominate the market, and uptake of EVs has been gradually gaining momentum, with about 7,000 new battery EVs registered in the first 10 months of 2022, according to Thailand Automotive Institute, up from 2,000 last year.
There were various product launches this year, especially when lockdowns were lifted. But there was also that problem of a shortage of chips that are used in various technologies, including cars. But our Twitter poll this week is asking you about your favorite tech purchases of 2022. And that's it. That's all we have for you. Find us on SABC Network on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. News Network at sabc.co.za on email. Continue having a great holiday season. From me, Pumela Lezondi, and the rest of the team. Bye-bye.